Hello my scrappy friends, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters and thank you for joining me for a Kitaholic Kits design team layout. Now for this layout I really wanted to use that black spotty paper, but this side was just so cute. It was sparkly and shiny and had the watercolour and the wreath. I couldn't. So my idea is that I will attempt to make something that is absolutely in no way identical but works and will be a good replacement. I went through my entire stash of papers and I had literally nothing that would be a suitable replacement, so I'm going to make my own. So I'm starting off by sticking a piece of washi tape to my desk to hold my paper in place, and then I am sticking my only 12 by 12 stencil to my page. I really wanted to use a 12 by 12 stencil because I didn't want to wait for each time the stencil dried to then do the next part, and I didn't want to smudge or have bits. Now I was crossing my fingers before because I have not tried this yet, but I've got the the Tim Holtz Distress Paste, I think it was called, and I'm adding some black paint to it because I really want it to be black, and it worked. It totally worked. So I am now going to pop the black all the way through this stencil, just top to bottom. If I was going to do this again, I might even do it a bit messy. I didn't do this messy. I did it basically perfect. Nice and neat and tidy. But I think if I was doing it again, I would do it messy and I would possibly not mix the paint perfectly either. So it was kind of like some was grey, some was white, some was dark black, just to, change it up a bit. I also want to mention that I am fully aware that this video is blurry. I hope you have managed to put up with it and that you haven't been driving yourself mad for the last 2 minutes. It does stop. I don't know why my camera is doing this. Last month I had a video that just completely didn't record at all. Well, it did record, but the entire thing was blurry. This one, it's just these first couple of minutes. So I do apologize. Stick it out. The whole rest of the 10-minute video is perfect. So I apologize. So yes, I'm going through my stencil and just popping all of this black on. And yeah, this worked really, really well. So this tells me I could try any color paint with the Distress, I think it's called Distress Grit Paste, I think it's called. Anyway, I love this stuff. It is amazing. It's kind of like sand or salt in the paste, and I love it. I love the texture it gives. I love the look and the feel of it, and I love how easy it is to work with. So I'm just about done painting all of these bits. I don't want to have to, I do end up having to, but I didn't want to have to add more grit paste because I didn't want to have leftover, because what am I going to do with a small amount of black leftover? It's just going to go dry. And I didn't want to put my black spatula into the container and ruin it. So that's why I used my finger. I was too lazy to get something else and dirty it up. So now with all the rest, I'm just kind of layering it on a little bit. So there'll be some places where the grit paste is a little bit darker and some places where it'll be a little bit thicker. And I hope that will look nice. So now that is done, I'm going to pull up my stencil, give all of that a wash, and leave it to dry. So here we are back with a in focus video. It is all dried, but I decided it was too black. That's why I meant earlier I would have sort of done it less perfectly where it's all black, and I would have done a little bit white, a little bit grey. But anyway, I'm just putting the stencil straight back on and going back in with the grit paste again, but unchanged. So just the natural grit paste, and just adding it thick in some places and thin in other places, just to try and put a little bit of white on top. That will then just soften some of the crosses and leave some, or they're kind of like plus signs, and leave some fully dark, and it'll sort of give that same effect as if I hadn't have completely mixed that grit paste in the first place. Again, I'm going to take off my stencil and go and give it a wash and leave this to completely dry. And in fact, I think I ended up leaving it for an entire day. It absolutely did not need that long, but I think I was busy doing other things. So it was definitely dry by the time I came back to working on this layout. 1, 2, 3. I'm more confident that this has worked properly this time than I was with the black. So here I am back. It's all completely dried. I've trimmed down the white edging just a little bit. And this purple paper that I'm using to back, I actually fussy cut all the little elements off the front of this. It was the paper that kind of had maybe 9 elements on it. They were like the cassette and the cassette player and the record player and the roller skates in a little flower, like each one in a little flower cluster. I'm putting 2 of them onto this layer, and I just fussy cut all the rest for later use. And I'm just using the leftover part to border off this page because it really just needed a little pop of that nice soft color. This cut file I made, so of course if you are a subscriber of Kitaholic Kits, that I will pop that over into the Facebook group because I love to share. Just says rock concert. I've got a microphone, 2 little rock and roll hands, and a guitar, just something simple, but I needed something to go with this layout to just sort of really give that rock and roll sort of mood and feel for this one. And I cut all my photos down, so I could have fitted a couple more photos if I didn't want to use those little square spots to embellish. But I double matted my photos. I cut them down to just a bit under 3 inches by 3 inches and then double matted them. There's a little purple mat and a little white mat, and then the photo. It's a little bit hard to see, but in real life you can obviously see it a bit better. So that pushed them out to be bigger than 3 by 3. And so this way I am only fitting 6 photos on a page, and of course that cut file is just so big, but I decided that this was enough to really document what I wanted to show anyway. So then, just checking that it's straight. So then, obviously I've popped all these up on foam because you can see the thickers there. And this was the day that we went to a concert called Live in the Vines, which if you're from Australia, you've probably heard of a similar type thing. It's a concert that's held at a winery where they sell like all the beverages and they have food trucks and all of that kind of thing. They're really quite massive concerts out in the sun. You take your own chairs, you take a picnic rug, you can take a full esky. You can't have alcoholic drinks in it because you're at a winery, but you can take food and all of that. Like we took a full dips and cheese and crackers and everything you can imagine. And we took a whole esky filled with ice so that when we bought some drinks, we could put them to chill and didn't have to drink them in like 3 seconds flat because it was a scorching hot day. It was beautiful weather. And if you can read that Live in the Vines, we saw the Hoodoo Gurus were the headliners. Originally, it was supposed to be Jimmy Barnes, but he went in and got a hit replacement, which is a bit of a shame for me because I don't really know the Hoodoo Gurus. I only know their one song, like, what's my scene? What's my scene? Tell me what's my scene? What's my... That's the only one I know. Then The Living End I know. Wolf Mother again, I only knew. Woman, you know you woman. Like, whatever that one is, that's the only one I knew. Noiseworks was... This is what the whole... like all my photos are of Noiseworks. It's my husband dancing to Noiseworks. The guy in the green shirt, he's the lead singer of Noiseworks. And the reason why all the pictures are of Noiseworks, I took tons of photos and I will include some other photos in my Project Life spread. But that's because for my husband, these were the headliners. These are who he wanted to go and see. Noiseworks were an original band from like the late 80s, 90s. And then they folded and they've just got back together again. So he was super excited and he wanted to go and see them again because he really loves them. And then Baby Animals, who I really don't know. I only knew like one of their songs. And then Thirsty Merc, who I did know. So it was a lot of fun, but I was a teeny bit too young for a lot of it. But my husband and all his mates had a good time. He's a little bit older than me. Had a really good time. And it was just a really nice day out in the sun. Just chilling, as I said, sitting in our deck chairs and just chilling out, no kids, and just having a really nice time. So that is why this kit worked really well because it had that sort of 80s, 90s theme going with the cassettes and the record players and stuff like that, which definitely worked for the era of the bands that were playing. And what else? Oh, and I really liked the little ticket stubs that actually were included in the ephemera pack, so that worked in my favor, so I pulled those out. And I just thought it ended up looking super cute. So then I'm popping on some gold splatters, and I was kind of feeling, let's do more. So you will have noticed that I skipped it over, but I added in, they're really hard to see, I think, in the video, but in real life you can obviously notice them. I added in some little white thickers on top of the rock concert cut file that says Stuck in the 90s because, yeah, we were rocking out and having a wonderful time with all the 90s songs. And then I did my splatters, and now I'm back with Novu drops. So I just can't stop. I just keep putting more and more on, but I really love the way it finished up. It is a busy layout. There are lots and lots of things to it, but I just really, really like it. Sorry, I'm talking so much, so I'm taking big deep breaths. I'm talking quickly. I need to calm and slow down and talk nicely and don't rush. You would think with a 12-minute video that I would have heaps of time to get all the things I want to tell you out, but you've probably noticed on my other layout videos, I just get super excited and talk really, really fast and have lots of things to tell you, because once I tell you the story of the photos and then the process of what I'm doing, it really does take the full 12 minutes. So anyway, I used some black, white and gold Novu drops, and I just did little teeny tiny little spots in a couple of places. And you'll see those like sort of up close in the up close photos, but I really like them. I think I personally just like that effect that it had on the layout. I often forget about adding things like that, and I think they're cute. So now I am just about done, so I'll be able to switch on over to the photographs for you. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this layout ended up coming together. I hope you are loving this month's kit. I know that I am. I just think this kit is gorgeous. And at first glance, I thought it was going to be quite difficult to use with my boy photos, but it absolutely isn't. And I am busting to keep on using it. So thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to share with what else I have for you over the next few weeks. Bye, everyone.